Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirisho here, and now, before I do begin, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku. We had Kirishima, and these two, they, along with members of their parties, have teamed up. Right now, they're heading out to a place called Fort Stonefen. This place is a location quite important to the Orc King of York. Right now, he wants the cannibalistic, psychotic, and war-raging orcs that are there to be taken out. They have had many atrocities laid claim to their name, and they are not sorry about it. They are vicious, monstrous, and cursed. The forces he had hunting them down have been unable to successfully take them out. They have been slowly picked off, and right now, with the idea of reinforcements coming in on their behalf, it looks bad for his troops. They might be driven away from this battle, and that he does not want. Two of the four heroes are currently en route to handle this, and along the way, they had to save some merchants. Izuku, whenever he made camp, found out that Indra, she was following, and this was quite surprising. She heard that the hero's party was going to be involved in this matter, and Izuku, the guy she lost against in the tournament, he was one of the four heroes. Her master was able to confirm to her that if she does follow his lead and team up with him, she could have the potential to get stronger. And this meant quite a lot to her. Right now, however, she does enjoy a lot of the things that Deku has kind of done. He's kind. He's not like most people she has met. And while she might be skeptical about him, the fact that he just invented a shower, a nice hot shower, does kind of make him feel a little bit more better in her mind. Especially since after they changed their plans. Instead of heading out and arriving at night, they do plan to arrive in the day. And right now, we do currently cut to Deku, who does go to wake up the next morning, right now, tired. However, he does go to climb out of his tent at the break of dawn, trying to think about a lot. It's early. The sun has yet to come up, and he can still see the two moons. That's good. He's got a bit of time. Deku walking over to where the campfire was put out last night, thinking about a few things. Going to sit down on the ground and begin meditating. Last night really did help him clear his head, and that's good. If he does want that achievement, however, the XP from that quest to level up, he needs to work fast. Let's see. He learned that magic not in the middle of the day, but around the afternoon. And he could cheat a little bit by speccing into an early level magic. But he could do that twice? No, that wouldn't make sense. He wants to learn advanced magic. Speccing into something simple could help him out. But at the same time, he's on the verge of almost transmuting matter. It's just not working out too well. So, he should try something else? Deku's sitting down, pulling the book from his inventory, beginning to flip through and seeing some of the spells that are here. There's a spell for teleportation, a high-level spell he may not be able to learn for some time, since right now he does not have the mana for it. Though he does think about a few other spells he's seen in his grimoire. Some he has been able to get the hang of, but some he's still on the fence about trying to use, especially since they are a massive drain to his power. And Izuku, does get to find the page about transmuting matter, seeing the way that Sir Theodore has written it in. And Izuku does try to focus, beginning a bit of an experiment. Him going to begin to mumble the enchantment before he does begin to try and achieve this process. However, Deku, he does get to fail. And he does get to begin trying over and over and over again. And we do have later, where eventually people, they do start to rise. The first one who does get to rise is Mogak, the orc woman. Her going to climb out of her tent and go to somewhat yawn, turning and seeing Deku sitting there. Right now, him meditating as there is a magic circle floating in front of him, and he does get to hold mana matter in his hand and trying to experiment with this. Figure this out. He's almost got it. He's on the verge of it. He's just got to. Are you alright? And I'm turning. The spell going to disperse as Deku does look down at his hand. We're now looking at the piece of raw matter made of mana, as he does get to stand up and turn, chucking this slimy material to the ground, before telling her, he's fine. Just, he was concentrating. Sorry to disrupt. You're alright. I thought I had it that time. I'm getting it wrong. It's a little annoying. I see. Her looking around, before seeing that some of the stuff on the ground looks a little odd. It's not fully transmuted. Clearly he's failed. And the matter around him, it does catch her eye. Before she's going to try to ask if he's tried, no offense, do you know magic? I'm an orc. No, I don't. I knew more offensive spells. This is a different matter. But what are you trying to do with it? I'm trying to just figure this out. I've almost got it down, but not yet. I mean, I'm failing in some regard, but this is a more intermediate class. I'm getting something wrong. Deku thinking about it. There's a circle appearing in front of his face before he does. We're going to start changing letters and changing certain components, and you have to watch him in real time, seeing what he's doing. And it's odd. Before Deku, he does go to hold up his hand and focus. The mana pulling together and forming into his hand. Before he does go to stare down at it. Him a bit more aware as to how to do this. It's like trying to focus a construct. Think of the magic missile, and you'll get the magic missile. Think of a shape, you'll get the shape. However, compacting it back down and getting it there, that's the part that's a little odd. He's holding it in his hand, concentrating and keeping it there. And as it is a turn, looking back at the spell before he does disperse it. And it is another failure. The mana seeping through his hands as he does look down, watching it smash to the ground in globs. And this does somewhat annoy him. Before he's at turn, chucking it at a tree and going to watch as it smash into it. Him turning back to Mogak and expressing. He just can't get it. He thought he could, wiping his hand in the dirt, as he does a sit down and express. So how are things with, Kirishima? Things are alright? He is a warrior. That's good. So if it's alright for me to ask, which one of your parent is the orc? I see. My mother would be the orc. My father is human. However, why do you ask? My friend, Pyra, me and her are close. I care about her. She mentioned elven and orc traditions in the carriage yesterday. It was interesting. Do you. I don't know how it works for you guys. You're battle hardened warriors and you're made that way. Do you do romance? Her is staring at Deku before she's gonna turn away and fold her arms, expressing she's gonna go hunting this morning. If he does wish to join her, then join her. However, if not, then sit here and gloom over his failed magical attempts. Her quickly walking away, and Deku, he has a turn before he's a look at the tree and get a look down, turning back a bit more intrigued, looking to see that slime material, it's stuck to it. The glob of mana matter is stuck to the tree. And Izuku, it does look down at his hands, thinking for a minute. Okay, so he needs to adapt to what he's doing. This is more intermediate and takes more practice. But this failed attempt, what did he do to change the spell? Deku turning, before he does begin to look at the way the magic circle he created does get a look, bringing his hand up and going to form the other runes in the air that are encased in the circles. And he does begin to appear as some of the few attempts he has had. Small changes to the spells, the way they are, and the way things do work. And there is where everybody, they do to wake up. Right now the sun being up for a little bit as Deku, he does just won't sit there. Right on him writing a new page in his book as Pyra does just sit down. Her planting a kiss on his cheek, asking exactly if he's been up for long. I've been up for a little bit. Rations are in the carriage, and Mogak was up earlier. Were you the first one up? Yeah, I was. I was. Though, where's Indra? I think she likes your shower idea. So she's gonna go there first. Before breakfast? Honestly, I like it too. It reminds me of the hot springs I've heard back in the Elf capital. And, well, other places. A nice hot bath that is all natural, but I don't know. It's an interesting invention. I'm glad you like it. Though, it does make me think of a few other ideas. Pray tell? Oh, sorry, I don't know. I'm a little embarrassed about the fact that it worked so well. Though magic is a little bit more complex, especially when you try and use it in machinery. Though, I think I'm starting to get a handle of a bit of the moving parts. Deku opening his inventory, looking at the new magic he might have just unlocked. And he does this one smile, blinking his eyes to turn back to Pyra. And she does try to ask him if he's being sneaky for a purpose? Maybe. Though, how about we just figure this out? After we all clean up a bit after breakfast, we should be good. Mogak gonna walk over and sit down. Her expressing, the bounty he provided last night was quite delicious. However, she does offer her own. Her bring her hand up in victory, expressing about how she wrestled this to the ground with her bare hands. And they better enjoy the meal, since it has a hefty flavor. And Izuku does turn to the pot, which does somewhat boil with meat and potatoes. Him seeing her begin to sprinkle in a few ingredients and gonna turn back, aware of how hearty orc cooking can be, and aware of how bland it also could be. And he's wondering which of the two this exactly might be. And that does somewhat worry him. However, his worries, they were put to rest after the first bite. And we do have later. Right now the group, they do gonna make their way over to the fort. And when they do to arrive nearby the camp, scouts do to give word about the two carriages they do go to see. And they are worried. However, when they do go to actually spot one of the people wearing the capes of the orc capital York, they do go to somewhat pull back their warriors and begin to prepare their camp. Since if these two are the leaders they've been told of, it will mean quite a lot. And we do currently have Deku, who right now, he does decide to do one simple thing. He does decide to spec into water magic, completing that quest and finally putting it to rest. Since, while he might have to spec into this skill to get more experience, the level up he does get, it will be better. Plus, if he can add water magic into this new form he's creating, that might actually give him an advantage. And he's wondering what he can do with that combination. Him already beginning to piece together some ideas for the runes in his mind, and wondering what he can do, since it might actually be able to help improve that form, rather than make it just something he can use simply. Might make it more functional. Now, there is with the carriages, they do arrive at the camp. Guards posted and staring at them. Many orc, some human, some dwarven and elven. And this, it is rather interesting. As Deku, he does even see a member of the Angel Clan, and he does even go to see a few Onis. As right now he does, could have a man come walking up. The massive orc wearing a similar cape. However, it does have red stains on it, showing that this guy has been to battle wearing it. And the two, they do just step out. Deku climbing to his feet in his dark purple and somewhat black armor, before he's a walk forwards with a white cape that does have the lines on it, along with a symbol for the capital, bringing a hand up to his chest and informing them, with a loud thud. He is a Zuko of Grunala, and their king, Dratha, has sent him and Kirishima to help them. And the guy does come running up. Kirishima informing them as to who he is. And these two, they do get to stand here. And people around them, they do get to stare on. Since these two, they cannot be serious. They're looking at a carriage full of teenagers, young adults, and these two are practically not even men yet. They are warriors, and the commander does it to stare on. Before they do to try to ask exactly why they should merit anything they say. Before someone does a step up. One of them bring up their sword and stepping around the man. People are turning as Deku does stare at a woman who is covered in armor. Her with a small horns protruding from her head, stepping around and informing him. Because those two are proper heroes, and she saw them at the tournament. In fact, one of them would have been her opponent, and the other is quite powerful. Kirishima went shouting out loud, "Erodos?" Deku turning, before looking back, and the woman does lower her blade, informing him, Those two are powerful, and do not let looks deceive, since he was caught off guard by an Oni. And if that is not humiliating for a man of his stature and rank, she doesn't know what is. And the man does a turn, giving her a bit of a glare before he does grit his teeth, wanting to order her to a battle. However, well aware that what she does say is true. And right now, while he might have to work with a enemy of his species, yeah, he is well aware that the bastards they're going to kill take more precedent over the grudge, because they make a mockery of what it means to be a warrior. They are an insult. And orcs take care of many things: their weapons, their pride, and how they seek battle, how they seek glory and honor. There are many things you can do to damage that. Discard honor, fight dirty, and you do not accept a challenge of a 1v1. You can do many things, but ultimately making a mockery of the warrior's code, the unspoken code of their people, it is the highest insult you can give. The dead are dead. Fight the living. And that is that. They abuse that. They consume the dead. And this man, he does is want taking a breath for a second before turning back to the two. And Deku does step forwards, asking them if they have any wounded, if they have anything that they can inform them of immediately. They like to get a look at this camp and see what they're dealing with. Find out more information that has benefit and merit. And whenever Izuku does it, hold up a right hand showing off a symbol on his wristband, one person, they do somewhat bite their lip, since they can recognize Izuku is powerful. And he does go to turn, walking forward towards the commander. And Erodos does stand there, looking at the commander, who does a look at Deku and then turn back to her, as he does somewhat sigh and express, turning around and leading them to the camp, about what's going on. They do have wounded. They do have healers, but they're spent. Since the magical defenses they have around this area, they've been triggered over and over. They're dealing with someone sneaking in and killing their men, and that has put many of them on edge, especially considering the fact that 3 of them have gone missing. The people they have assigned to watch the fort have not found anything, man leading them into a tent, before Deku and Kirishima do to step in, turning and going to see some people walk in as well. And the man is going to walk over to a table and going to stand there, it showing a diagram of the area. Izuku turning to the glowing table and seeing it. It looks like a map. However, the pieces on the table, they do somewhat glow and move. The small dots that are there, along with the monoconstruct of a fort, highlighted in red with flames above it. This is the fort. It is not too far away. Decently about a quarter of a mile. We have been trying to take it for some time. However, it is past the hill, and it is down. However, it is also up the mountain. They are using the fact that they are on a mountain's edge to their advantage. We cannot go from any other side but one. And that is problematic. If we do have a different approach, we would have tried it already. We've had to try to have someone climb the mountain. They died because they fell, and because they were shot. Right now, we are at an impasse. We have tried to directly confront them. However, that has led to more casualties. They're getting stronger, and we don't understand how. I see. Maybe I can help. Kirishima stepping in, expressing. He has a special ability, one that can help all of them. If they have a direct confrontation, what would he say the chances of survival are? Of success? Typically, with regular battles and our so far involvement, I would say about 40%. Why is that? Kirishima was not smiling, informing him. He hopes that he can raise that more, maybe even past 70%. His ability grants him. He has an ability similar to like that of a bard. He can inspire people to fight, and he can charge their powers. The man's staring at Kirishima confused. Before he does express, he can demonstrate it. Not only empower himself, but empower Izuku, the other hero. Show off to the troops what they have on their side. Perhaps help raise morale, and show off that this can be done, that they can win. And the man, he doesn't laugh. Many of the people inside this room doing so as well. As Kirishima, yes, he might be a young, upcoming warrior, but he's just a human. Even if he is a hero and he does have this quote-unquote ability, it does not mean much. If he can only empower one man along with himself, he doesn't see the benefit of it. And he does try and express that they do need more reasonable tactics. Izuku brings his hands up before he has to step forwards and tell the man that he wanted a solution. They came here because King Dothra thought they can help. Is he saying that he's laughing at the king? The man's staring at Deku before he does turn to him a bit more serious, not wanting to acknowledge that this kid and him currently share the same damn rank. He has a turn looking at some of his commanders who are here as well, people he does trust to know these plans, and many of them do get to stare at this, as if he's just going to take that insult from this young man. Yeah, it's not going to do good for his reputation. And he does decide to do something different, telling the young lad, if he does think that he can encourage his warriors to fight, then do so. However, if he does have this special ability, then go ahead. Test it out. He would like to see where it does go. And Deku, he has a turn. Bring a hand up to Kirishima and ask him if he can activate it. Yeah, I can. It's just going to be a bit off-putting, though. What do you mean? I can explain a bit better. Him and Deku gonna walk out. He has to tell Deku he's gonna feel fatigue after the ability deactivates. That's what he's trying to say. With each rank that it does go up, if the fatigue gets a little bit worse. However, the boost does get better. And he's hoping that after a bit more upgrading, the fatigue rate does go down. Though, he's gotta know, it's gonna push him hard. And he doesn't understand. However, he does tell Kirishima to do it. As Izuku, he does go floating up in the air, and he does to activate Spirit. Him allowing his mana to run through him and going to bring his hands together, clapping his hands to gain people's attention. And people, they just don't hear this strike come from Deku. Him gonna float there as he does start yelling out that they're going to do this and they're going to win. There's a lot of things that are going to happen, and people do need to understand. For those who do doubt him, Kirishima bring his hand up before he said activate his ability and go to slam onto his chest. And Izuku, he does feel a surge. Everyone around him beginning to turn their heads up. Andra turning her head and looking at Deku in awe. Aerodos stirring up and seeing this. And there is currently someone who does like turn their head as well. Them feeling the magical power currently on display. And they do go to smile. Before we do cut back to York, where two people are sitting there. And right now, Sir Theodore, he does go to turn his head, feeling this display of magical power. And he does just won't smile, turning back and expressing that he's quite happy that that is there. Though, can he feel that? Yes, I can. Is that yours? It feels like him. I'd say that's quite good. Though, it does have me quite worried. You worry about him? Perhaps a little too much. However, sir, I think he'll be fine. The man doesn't smile, asking him if he does think that Indra is going to perform well as well, since he's quite curious to see what she does have planned. And we do currently have Bakugo, along with Ochako. They do not turn their heads, feeling a massive amount of pressure coming from that direction. And Ochako, she's quite alarmed, her stating that that does feel like Deku's magical energy. And he does get to talk about it. That's bullshit. That can't be right. He doesn't even feel it, though he can feel the pressure of it. And she does try to confirm this, it annoying him. As you cut back to Deku, he does get afloat there. Spirit does manifest. It feels incredible. He feels strange. His entire body is covered in this white flame, and it's showing no signs of dying down. It looks almost like it could engulf him, roar him, and cover him over. It's like a dragon spewed fire directly into his face, but he doesn't even feel it. His hands, his mana reserves, hell, his ability. He feels incredible. And Izuku doesn't bring his hands up before he does go to slam together, and a sound like lightning does a crackle through the air. It sends a shockwave that does send many people flying. Right now, him beginning to float back down. As he does go to try and pull himself back in, and people, they do get to stand. And the man who was insulting them earlier does get to fall to a knee. Him apologizing for his earlier statement, since he did not realize that what they do say rang this true. And with that amount of power backing them, they feel like they're being backed by an archmage. In this Deku, he does not smile at. However, he doesn't look down at his hands. Well intrigued about this power of his now. He knows it's a boost, but it's incredible. He feels like he could take on Sir Theodore a dozen times over. And maybe he could win. Yeah, no. He was right to choose Kirishima. That ability of his, it is interesting. Not only that, it will be invaluable to them. They'll win. With them working together, he wants to see if they can take on the Demon Lord. And that is its own big smile coming from him. As the entire camp, they do somewhat begin to feel invigorated. Feel that with this power behind them, there's a better chance they can win. But right now, they just have to prepare. And after Izuku does feel this boost calm down, he does understand the adrenaline crash Kirishima was talking about. He does feel like he took a hit to his stamina. However, he is able to recover, if not just feel a little wobbly on his feet. And there is Erodos, the swordswoman who does want to test Izuku's power, know exactly what she missed out on. However, after seeing that display, she is quite curious. And whenever Deku does go to fly over the fort with Kirishima, the two, they do try to inspect the area, see what they can from this distance. And it does mean a bit. The two currently floating in the air, as they do go to use an eye scope, if not a looking glass, there we go, and try to inspect the fort from this far away. And Kirishima is talking about a few things. He can see him. They're right about that. There's only one way in. And yeah, that doesn't look too good. Front gate is powerful. And from what he can tell, oh, that doesn't look good. What is it? Him handing it over. Deku looking through the eyepiece and going to see it. He can see dozens of orcs looking around and oh no. Deku is staring at a cage and seeing that there does look to be someone inside of it. Him somewhat flying a bit closer and going to look down further. And this is bad. After they do begin to approach a bit more, they do begin to somewhat fly around the area, maintaining a distance, but going a bit higher when they can, being a little daring and trying to see what they can. They have hostages, people in cages, and from what they can tell, there's about a dozen or so people on guard. But that doesn't cooperate with their numbers. There must be more people on guard at night, sleeping during the day, or somewhere inside that large place. And it does somewhat annoy him, but if they have to wait until nightfall to get in there, it's going to suck. They need a plan, however. And this does mean quite a bit. Currently, Deku flying back to the camp and landing down. Before he does try to think. He could try to use that new form of magic he's working on. Use water magic and ice magic in conjunction. Maybe be a bit daring and try to use one of his grimoire spells. No, that does sound like it could be very dangerous. If he does that, he could hurt one of the hostages. Okay. But what can he do? What can he do? Are you alright? I'm trying to think. The orcs, do they have magic casters? They do have some. I see. Well, then they obviously felt that rush of magical power. We can be right on that assumption? Yes, you are. People begin to gather around Deku. Kirishima trying to ask him if he does have a plan. I'm thinking. Deku turning, asking if there's anything else they know. They have magic, they're feral, they're holding prisoners, and, well, he doesn't like to think about what they're doing there. If they are cannibalistic, they need to hurry up. He saw them feasting on something earlier, but he doesn't already like that image. What's in the forest nearby? Magical creatures, large dire wolves, and reports of a foul creature nearby. What do you mean foul? We have lost our dead, and what we believed to be orc intervention may not be. It could be something else. Okay, that's not good. Has been preying upon people in the camp. We've had some people on watch go missing. We assigned more to a task and, well, we believe the larger groups have helped. That's not good. Yes, clearly we're being watched. The man sang out loud, making it well aware to his troops. Inizuku, should I think? Okay, dire wolves are large creatures in the area. Are they attracted to noise? The orcs or the wolves? Do you have a plan? I have an idea, but it could be a good idea. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. We need a plan to get in there. We could use magic and water, fire and ice, or fire and water, I'm sorry, to make a smokescreen. Something to cover us to head in. And they could use wind to blow it away. We use wind to keep it in place. We need something. A way to distract them. Keep them on their toes. Keep them busy. I mean, at night we could try to climb the fort, but those without reinforcement magic would have trouble. We can get to the main gates and open it up. There could be an issue there. They would try to use hostages against you. They're feral, not stupid. Okay. We need something then. Something that can draw their attention, but they won't immediately think they're under attack. Okay. I'm trying to think of an idea. If we send wolves into their area, would that do anything? What do you mean? Lead them to them? They would send out a war party to attack. And that would be all. Bring back the meat and rip it apart. Okay. Ooh, how good is their sense of smell? Deku turned to Kirishima, and he does express they need a distraction, right? Maybe they cook something good. It could draw them out, and, well, whenever they got them drawn out, they can attack them while they're distracted. Or have a distraction and have people climb the walls on the mountain. It's not a bad idea. But how good is an orc sense of smell? Very. They can smell blood, at least from a quarter mile away. That's interesting. So, they've got a very good sense of smell. The food idea could work, but they're feral. They don't care about the smell of food. Do they hate strange smells? They hate any smell that can be rancid. As far as we have known, we don't see any bodies. We've seen plenty of bones. Okay. How clean are they? Cleanliness? We have seen that some of them have been nearby the river, if that's what you do mean. Right. That is odd. That would go against their feral nature. I know. That's what we had trouble about this. We can't think of them just one way. So we need something that smells. Something that could be bad enough to take out their sense of smell. Keep them distracted and occupied. Okay. I'm starting to form an idea. Maybe we have a stink bomb. Send it into their camp, see what it can do. It won't kill the prisoners, and it's not some sort of chemical attack. But we just send something really bad into their midst, we could use a barrier. Maybe try to form it over the dome. Maybe make sure it can't get out. Would that be possible? From a barrier over their camp to protect them? No, from a barrier over their camp to keep them in. That smell will linger and they'll only have to come one way out. A barrier works on who you want to come out, right? Who you authorize? Technically, you're correct on this. We make the barrier above the base, not inside the wall or around the castle, just to keep in the large smell. That could be interesting. However, what could we gain that is rancid enough? Anything. Anything and everything. We just need to work hard. Kirishima. Yeah? Would you be down to do some hunting? If there's a creature nearby that's doing all this, I don't imagine it's doing good. What do you mean? If it's taking corpses, then... Please don't tell me you think it's a corpse harvester. I don't think so. I've heard of those things. They're messy. Though, now that I'm thinking about it, where are the golems? They've already been destroyed. The magic caster capable was killed. We found him in disrepair. That is bad. Okay, so we Trojan horse it? Is that the right term? I think so, but I think the idea of delivering it straight into there could be best. I need to make a call. See if I can talk to somebody. Maybe it could work, but I don't know. Izuku walking away. Right now him heading to the commander's tent and calling Sir Theodore, wanting to get his opinion on this idea, on this tactic. He even does have another idea. Contact the witch he knows. Ask her about any ingredients that can be used this way. She's a witch, an alchemist of sorts. He gave her that wyvern eye, and hopefully this is a small thing compared to that. And whenever Theodore doesn't answer, he does try to ask Izuku if that newfound magical power of his is giving him a big head, since he doesn't believe that a rematch is quite proper just yet. No, said Theodore. I mean, maybe one day. But, the witch from the festival, do you have any way of contacting her? I was hoping to speak with her. About potions, poisons, magical items, cursed objects? Or were you looking for something different? I've heard about your relationship forming with that elven woman. Pyra. Ah, so you need a vitality potion. Young you love. Nothing like that, Sir Theodore. Don't get me wrong. I mean, no, just shut up. Okay, drop it. Sir Theodore, I need her information. I need to know how to make a stink bomb. A what? Something really, really bad. Something that smells rancid to the enemy. We're trying to get them to be driven out of the fort. They have hostages, and if we go in guns blazing, we can't let them use them against us. We could try a stealth operation, but I don't like that idea. I have yet to master that one ability. I can't conceal my presence. Huh, I see. You're too gun-ho. You still have yet to properly master your own mind. I know. Listen, can you please send me her information? I can talk to her. We need to drive this enemy out. We plan to dome them in so they can't get out. Afterwards, have them run out the front. And they'll be willing to confront us then. They won't have a choice. They'll know they're under attack, but If they can outlast whatever we send at them, I don't think they really care that much about smell. Though with how sensitive their noses are supposed to be, I think it can work. I just need that information so I can talk to this witch of yours. If she can guide me through this process, then it should work. I'll send over the information. Inuzuku. Yes, you're in a commanding position. Many men will try to look at you and be insubordinate to you. Stay strong, keep your mind calm, keep your head on your shoulders. And if they question you, answer with resolve. Do not give them room to question you. And if they do follow you, respect them. If they stand by your side in battle, that is no longer someone to look down upon. You respect them as a warrior. Do you understand? I do. Good. Resolve yourself. If you do have to grant mercy, grant you mercy. And if it does weigh heavy on the heart, remember what you are fighting for. The man go to hang up. Deku, feeling his crystal begin to pulse and feeling the magical signature. Before he does, gonna reach out and go to try and talk to the witch. And when she does get an answer, she's quite happy to see Izuku, since she felt a strange disturbance in magic. And this, it is quite unprecedented. Her happy to take his call. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.